As for 我几时要退休，我跟我老婆商量，我们是讲50岁了，那个是白日梦。
我想要去 shopping 而已。
我觉得我会做到死。
So as young as possible.
I think millions of dollars would be good.
If I cannot afford Starbucks coffee every day, then I shouldn't retire.
我没有想过要退休诶，我觉得退休其实是一种概念，
尤其在新加坡我们发展的这么快我觉得我们不应该退休。虽然你要退休，你应该慢慢的退休。
很惭愧啊，我觉得这工作永远做不完啊，所以我觉得好像从来还没有想到说几时要退休啊，可能就是到那个不能动的那一天吧。
因为还要公务，还有一些基本生活上面的开销。医药费的开销，到目前为止，我的状况来讲是，没有一个定下来的时间目标。
I feel like there isn't a standard set age for me that I want to retire. Perhaps in my career, I've done like most of the things I want to do, and I'm ready to like hand over the mantle to the next person.
在新加坡退休啊，就是无法退休了。现在65，可能当我们到65，可能就70多了。
理想的退休age 是 around 60.
In vision that I can retire, I think closer to 67, 68.
我跟太太啊，刚刚也开始去学跳降落伞。
我想很简单嘞。我想要去 shopping 而已，我坐在那边喝一杯茶，然后我吃我的 scones， 然后我就很开心哦。
就是能够去钓鱼了。
Well, every day I can buy a cup of coffee, I'll be very happy. I think my dream has always been to like open a B&B.
我画这个是不是因为我喜欢吃麦当劳？虽然我的 size 看起来像是啦，但我觉得我的晚年应该不会完全退休，不管怎样也是会打一些 part time 来 supplement 一下 income。First
part 3 is that 我老的时候可以带我的狗，就是出去遛狗。第二个就是就是我可以跟我的朋友，就是我们都老了，就是在 kopitiam， 就是在那边坐住喝茶聊天。
假如自己没有培养一个自己的兴趣的话，特别是假如你老伴也不在的话，那么我就觉得会很空虚。
If 我有很多 cash， 我会去参加那些 organization for 那些 charity 的，我会把这些时间慢慢消耗掉，然后做我喜欢做的事啦。Then 如果说条件不允许我不变，我就是要搭出去咯，不然谁养我？
我们有一个 target amount that we want to have。除了 of course 你需要有6个月的rainy day fund， 我们也是做了一些比较安全、比较 long term 的 investment。
I think one thing that I feel is important is having conversations about death. It's because my granddad recently passed on, and there was this like hesitance, like a pushback from my family to like ask him about like things like the do not resuscitate orders, or like writing your will, or like thoughts about palliative care.
I feel that I'm still very young lah. I'm still in my early 20s. 我是觉得 don't really have to think about it yet at the moment, but maybe once I reach like 30 plus, like late 30s, then 就是会开始想这些问题咯。
One other thing that can perhaps be stepped up is improving medical literacy. Your middle-aged individuals, or you may not necessarily have knowledge on like which sources are the best to turn to.
我觉得最担心就是 burden for 孩子，因为我是自雇人士，所以我们又没有 CPF， 因为我又没有 Medisave， 如果我真的住院 ，right， 最少一个10到20千的钱 ，right。所以我觉得我最怕就是生老病死，问题是不会死，然后我的孩子要照顾。
But I think health is something as well, which is why I appreciate like having Medisave and all these things in place. But of course, beyond that, own insurance, your own savings is important as well.
Having children who are independent of me, I think then that I wouldn't have to worry about like whether I save any dependents who are dependent on like my income or what I do.
Inflation 起落跟股票一样的，所以大概也是一个担忧吧。
我觉得退休后我会担心是不够 retirement funds 吧，因为如果有小孩的话，需要供他们读书还是什么的，也不知道自己的 retirement money 会不会够不够自己用这样子。
10几年、20年前嘛，他们就会说，你可以死，不过不可以生病。不过我觉得在近10年来政府做了一些很大的那个医药改革。而且还有一些 MediSave 啊，这些 MediShield 来帮忙。
新加坡不可以病，不可以退休，只能死，你懂吗？你退休，除非我就讲了，你要有很多钱。
老实说呢，在医疗方面呢，我去年在动这个手术之前是发生了很多事情，在等候时间，希望说可以加快一点，因为我们在紧急部门等的时候，那真是心理压力很大。
Money, savings, home, and security. Security in a sense that the place that I'm gonna live is very safe. I can come home anytime, and then even if like I forgot to lock the door, it's still safe.
Mortgage loan 这个也是一个重点。When 你进 retirement, you don't have much of a source of income. How are you going to solve your living issues? Like how are you going to solve your lifestyle if you don't even have a place to stay? Have no liabilities I think 那个是重点啦。
我觉得健康第一 ，community 第二，钱是第三。我很贪钱啊，我觉得钱还是第三。
我的事业应该差不多到了一个能够延续，或者有人能够接棒的这个情况，我才能够安安心心的去退休了。
健康是最重要的，你有一个健康，而且你的健康没有问题，那个是最重要的。那第二呢，就是头上那一片瓦。
可以不用愁这个生活费的问题，不用愁这个医药费的问题，我只是需要一个房间、一个客厅，我就可以过日子了。
I think millions of dollars would be good. Cause like that, then you can live comfortably.
2 million.
I think an amount that would be comfortable would be 3 to 5 million lah. That's even being able to be comfortable enough to retire. I mean.
如果我们讲 monthly expenses 的话，现在这个时候可能3000到4000，省吃俭用。After that, 你 just 打大概 inflation rate 到你65岁的时候，那时候我有去算我自己的啦，大概6000、7000。
我讲以后的将来 ，right，where I foresee 啊，你一定要最少500到600多千在你的银行，而且这个是算一个可以做好的生存。
I think by and large it's a good scheme, but there are still people who fall through the gaps because for CPF it mainly benefits those who are like maybe employed under bigger companies, but if there are people who are like, for example, gig workers or self-employed individuals, they may not have that CPF savings set aside for them.
"比方我先生啊，刚刚才pay out1个月800多块嘞，你还一个水电费，还有你的maintenance fee 呢，全部你也起。碰到你要拿你的那个好像 diabetic 的药什么 cholesterol 的药你觉得800块可以 sustain 吗？可以 include 你吃的吗？不够嘞，真的不够嘞。
我不懂是真的，因为我没有 CPF， 把我听这些 copy 店的 uncle taxi driver 跟我讲啦，我觉得是不够。你一个月的工钱4000我给你最高4000。by the time 你55岁到60岁你只可以最多一个月 withdraw 700到800。
除了报给员工有报 CPF， 我跟我太太还有妹妹，我们自己人也有报 CPF。我觉得这个是一个很好的保障。严格上来讲是应该要有一些存款是 outside of 这个 CPF， 所以我们也有买保险，那么自己也有其他的储蓄。
I also don't want to feel tied just to CPF. I think the scheme is comprehensive in that sense lah, for seniors to be able to use it when they are older. But I don't want that to be my sole form of income lah.
它会足够你满足一个 basic standard of living。是 basic 的意思就是真的是省到能省，这些东西啦。因为那个只是够你不要饿死啊！你要享受什么？你要出国也好，做什么娱乐也好，我觉得也是要额外的 income。
I would consider retiring in different places, but if you were to ask me whether I would like to retire in Batam or JB or somewhere else, I think that's not out of the question. I think definitely something I would think of.
我个人是想要在水泽兰退休。
I want to like retire where my loved ones are. I think a plus of retiring in Singapore is that it really is very safe.
而对我来讲，最重要的那一点哦，就是以后我们要住的家，我跟我老婆的话啦，要有那个 bell， 有什么事情可以按，才会有人来帮忙。
我也是在想说，是不是有一天我死在家里，几天之后等到隔壁邻居闻到味道，才知道里面死了一个人。我希望就是说，我们社区里面也是有很多义工啊，他们呢可以说多关心我们这些单位。
我觉得可能在巴厘岛有一个小洞的房子啊，所以常常去那边玩也是不错的。不过家还是新加坡，